is police just for the government. Hey, oh gosh, I put you before my family. With my life I protect you daily, but before I make a law, you're ready to hand this to the law. Remember when they killed Brady, you said that police too jokey. Nah, these days, what we're fighting to do and what we'll be embarking on doing is to establish and reinforce and strengthen that relationship with you, the community. And we're also saying to you, the community, let us reinforce that relationship. Let us build that bridge that appears to be breaking. It's not fully broken, it's breaking. And if we don't do what we got to do, then it will finally achieve in terms of being broken. And we don't want that. So we're asking that we continue to work together for the better of all and for the good of our community. So just in case you just tuned in, it's Wednesday and it is another conversation with the Rgpf. And in studio this morning, I have two wonderful guests from the Hermitage Police Station, and I know Real FM is listened or aired well within the St. Patrick's area. So this morning we have staff from the Hermitage Police Station and we'll be discussing the Noise Pollution Act. But before we go any further, I'd like to take this opportunity, and we'll be taking this opportunity to say thank you to all of you who would have participated in our activity last Thursday at the Grenville Car Park. That was the band concert and also that panel discussion. Those of you who had asked questions, you were bold enough to come forward regardless of the crowd and the publicity to ask your questions and made your comments. We say thank you for making it a success. And those of you who would have came from work being tired, but yet for all, you did come by the car park to participate in the activity. We say thank you also, and we trust that the information that was disseminated did not fall on deaf ear, and also that you were able to tell someone something or to even protect your property and yourselves and your loved one as we go hurriedly, because time is running into the Christmas season. There were some crime prevention tips that were given, and in a matter of time, our children would be on vacation. Last week in studio, we discussed a twofold program. We look at the Liquor Dealers License Act, and Ms. John from St. David Station spoke to the issue of how to apply for what is locally called a temporary liquor license, but by law it is an occasional license. She told you as to how you can prepare yourself for a permanent license, and it's the end of a liquor session in that persons have to pay the license, because every December your permanent license is paid. And she told you the protocol as to obtaining a temporary. She also said to you that you need to ensure that you have your temporary with you always where the activity is taking place. In the event that my colleagues pass by, that you can produce it showing that you have authority. And the one I want to leave with you as we branch into today's topic is that she said, even if you apply for a temporary liquor dealer's license, that is, you have a business establishment on Main Street, but there is an activity at 4, and you want to go and sell alcohol there, and you get that occasional liquor license to go there, that does not give you the right to play amplified music. And that is where the conversation would take us into this morning's program as it regards to the Noise Pollution Act. So, good morning to you, sir, and how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Yeah, I know the weather is cold. I didn't expect in that voice. So I'd like for you to take the opportunity. It's your first time in studio with me on the conversation with the Rgpf. So kindly introduce yourself to our listeners.
Well, good morning to you and good morning to the listeners. My name is Brian Lewis. I'm a corporal of police and presently attached to Hermitage Police Station.
Corporal Lewis, when people hear of Brian Lewis, there is a lot that may jump out because you're a known person. In terms of your policing career, how long have you been around, and what are some of the exciting areas for you within your career?
Well, I've been a member of the Royal Grenada Police Force for 25 years. And during that time, I've worked many places, and I've worked at the South St. George Police Station, Carriacou Police Station, Guelph Police Station. I've worked at Port Security, you know, just to name a few.
Oh, great, great. Good morning to you, Madame.
Good morning.
And I mean, listeners, look at that. Those of you who is viewing us, right? All I said was good morning, and the room just lights up, right? So those of you who's outside, and I know the rain have you a bit chilly. We got some light and glue. I'm just going through. So I hope you got some of that radiation. So how are you, 595? And can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Oh, I'm doing very well today. I am Tonya Burke, Woman Police Constable 595, presently attached to the Hermitage Police Station.
Miss Burke, attached to Hermitage Police Station. How long have you been attached to Hermitage?
It's still about 2 years.
2 years at Hermitage. And how would you assess or rate your time being there?
What should I say? Excellent for now.
Wow, so Hermitage people, that means they're behaving.
Yes, they normally do.
Okay. And if I may ask you, having been there for 2 years, what are your most prevalent offense? I know I give it, I'm gonna take you on the back burner, but it's nice. And what's the most troubling areas for you? Not community, but in terms of offenses.
In terms of offenses itself, it will be down to the offensive behaviors like threatening language, insulting language, and obscene language. Mostly, yes. Most of the languages,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how cooperative are persons in terms of the complainants and wanting to follow up with action, and also that of the perpetrators when they have to be dealt with?
They both do well. They come in, they make their complaints. In dealing with it, we try to give them the vastest feedback we can. The perpetrators, they also, what should I say, they comply.
Okay.
Because we have no trouble going to them, speaking to them, having them come to the station. We have no trouble with that. So for now, I think we are doing well when it comes to that.
Tell me, what's the interaction with Hermitage Police Station and the young ones or the juveniles within that policing area?
I should say very well. I wouldn't say excellent, but very well, because the juveniles, they come to us, they speak to us on a daily basis. They always greet us with respect, a lot of respect. Good. One thing we could say at Hermitage, juveniles, children go right up. We get a lot of respect from the community as a whole.
Right.
Yeah, so we have a good relationship between them.
Because based on my function, oftentimes I ask myself the question, is it that there is no children within Hermitage policing area or juveniles? Because from community relations standpoint, we have not had much interaction, but I'm happy. So whatever you all are doing, and I'm quizzing you along that line because you're there longer than the corporal, and it seems like you're enjoying that policing area. So I trust that relationship continue with your leadership, Corporal Lewis. And but let us go into the conversation. 2 years at Hermitage. If you ask me, I'll say yes, Hermitage is a trouble area where noise is concerned. That's my opinion. You don't have to be facts. But from your perspective, having to be policing the area, what is your take as it regards to noise pollution within your policing area? Is that a problematic situation for the police?
I wouldn't say it's problematic, because we have it, you could say maybe once a week or maybe 3 times within a month.
Okay.
We'll get a complaint about noise or excessive noise. And when we respond, it doesn't have any, or should I say, unreasonable uproar, or everybody complies to it.
Right.
Especially if someone is having it and they do not have the permission, and we educate them about the permission and how to get it. And next time, if this has to happen or come to us, we'll help you with this. And that's how we build the relationship. Also,
Great.
we educate them on it and have them maybe come to the station to us. If they do not know how to do it, we find ways to do it. If we do not have the resources within the station, we find the resources from the outer station, may it be Sotes or Grenville, well, the Eastern Division, the police headquarters by extension. So it's quiet, you could say.
All right, now we're ready for that conversation. Listeners, stick and stay, don't go. We'll be right back with the conversation with the Rgpf.
Not just the criminals, but society gives the biggest fight. Unwarranted slander we endure every day. You say police is police just for the government's pay. Oh gosh, I put you before my family. With my life I protect you daily. But before I make a flaw, you're ready to hand this to the law. Remember when they kill Reddy, you said I'm police too jokey. No man fights with police and dead. You say the force is where killers are bred. So when I hear you complaining,
Yes, listeners, when you hear them complaining, police brutality. But there is no room for that. It would be police relationship. We will be bridging that gap between the police and the community and the police. We will continue to work together. It is a Yuletide season, it is Christmas season, and that's all we do around Christmas time, give love. So we're going to give love through information and communication. And even when we have to enforce the law, we're still going to do it with love, right? So this morning in studio, we are going to discuss the Noise Pollution Act, and I trust that all persons would see the importance of it because it's a time of the year when there are lots of activities, celebrations, little parties and picnics and so forth, right? So in regards to the Noise Control Act, which is a piece of law, a piece of legislation, what is noise? Because someone may consider me now to be making noise, but according to the law, what is noise?
Okay, so according to the Act, noise means sounds and may include vibration, right? Now, I'll go a little further to say noise pollution means harmful or annoying sounds or vibrations or sounds that amount to a nuisance.
Right.
And nuisance means any unreasonable interference with the rights of another.
Okay. So I'm home doing some construction work. Can my neighbor deem that to be noise?
Yes. Yes.
Because my sander just might be causing a nuisance to him or her.
Yes.
But the question is it unreasonable?
Yes.
And that is where the balance of the law will take effect.
Yeah.
So we expect that there would be issues of those nature, but then the balance would come about whether or not it is reasonable and to that level of causing a nuisance. Because at our construction field, almost everything we do daily, some level of noise is caused. But when you look at the validity of it, because we as police do make noise, correct? You agree with me on that? We do. Yes. In terms of the law, are there any exception to the act when noise is concerned?
Yes. This act does not apply to noise caused by A, the police, fire brigade, ambulance, or other emergency vehicles.
Right.
Right? B, for the purpose of communicating with the persons on a vessel, for the purpose of directing the movements of that or any other vessel.
Okay.
Right? There's another one, C, by a loudspeaker, if the loudspeaker forms part of a public telephone system. And D, by a loudspeaker, if the loudspeaker, no, let me take that again. Yeah, by a loudspeaker, if the loudspeaker is in a or fixed to a vehicle, or is operated solely for the entertainment of or the communicating with the driver or a passenger of the vehicle, or where a loudspeaker is or forms part of the horn or similar warning instrument of the vehicle solely for giving warning of other traffic.
Right.
All right? And okay. And it's so operated and is not to cause nuisance to persons in the vicinity.
Okay.
Right? Also, during the carnival period,
Right.
right? During the carnival period, right? In cases of emergency, for such purpose as the minister may by order specify, right? And at any other time permitted by the Commissioner of Police, right? Those are some of the exemptions.
So the commissioner of police can authorize,
Yes, you
give
can.
permission for, well, what one may deem to be noise, but according to the law, exception to the rule.
Yes.
Right. Because you're having a birthday party, you're having a wedding reception, you're having some fundraisers, and in order for you to play music or create that noise, you must, the only time you would not be contravening the law is when you have exemption or when the commissioner grants you that level of exemption. But I think I want you, Corporal, to reinforce or just to repeat the first few or three that when noise is caused, because oftentimes persons fail to understand that of the police, the ambulance, and even when those noise is caused while being exempted by law, it's still not adhered to. Persons still complain. So maybe if you repeat it, somebody may just hear and understand that the law gives provision and exception for that.
All right, so I'll go over. And it says noise by the police, fire brigade, ambulance, or other emergency vehicles.
Right. So you having some experience of being versed in traffic laws also. Let's say I am traversing to work and I meet a situation on the road and I decide to use my personal vehicle to transport someone to medical care, and I'm using my horn as a means of alerting the public. Would that be a contravene to the law, or would that cover me in terms of exemption?
Well, at the time you go under the of any other emergency vehicle, and at the time
Right.
you are dealing with an emergency.
Right.
So the law would cover you then.
And this is totally different to that of just stopping by the road or in a group with my friends and just honking my horn.
Yeah, it is. It's different.
Right. So listeners, I ask those questions and pretend to be the layman to create that distinction, because oftentimes you pass vehicles and they're just honking their horns for no reason. So you in local word, you flying to the side to give way, thinking that there is an emergency coming to you because you're hearing that prolonged horn, and only to realize it's an entertainment or fun. and the police may just be there and you are ticketed or charged, and then you think that that police doesn't like you or is unfair. Whereas there are other situations where the law is clear that you can use your horn as to alerting the other traffic as to a situation at hand. Any other thing in regards to that discussion?
I would like to reiterate on any other permitted time by the Commissioner of Police.
Right.
Because according to the Act, again, between the hours, restriction to loudspeakers, between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. of the following morning, loudspeakers are prohibited, except, and that's where the exemption of the law comes. The Commissioner of Police will give you that exemption within that time.
Right.
You know? Yes.
And do you mind repeating the hours again?
The hours between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. of the following morning.
So in a nutshell, and I've been the devil's advocate, anything for this quote unquote noise not to contribute to an offense within the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. of the next morning must be granted permission or exemption by the Commissioner
of Police.
So persons who is applying for permission to have activities outside of that of the carnival period and wants to go from 6 to 2 a.m. I don't know where Grenadians get that new style. I don't know why that's a new party time. But oftentimes you hear of permission being requested for. You hear of 2 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m., especially outside of the carnival period. And when the commissioner denies that sort of hours, persons think that it is a personal beef or because it's me, they don't want to give the permission. And if it's Tom, it is granted. But the law is clear that Commissioner of Police has a right within a particular time, and there must be circumstances to aid as to why same would be granted or not, because 11 p.m., which is 1 hour before the close of one day, and then you have 7 a.m., which is the morning time people still getting themselves into the day. So I think the law was considerate when they were, the draftsmen were considerate when they were doing that. But oftentimes commissioner do grant some of those permission, and some of the things for those of you persons who is thinking of applying for permission, you need to, and you want this kind of hours, you need to bear in mind as to where the location would be held, your environment, and so forth to be considered. But as we're talking about the time span in regards to when commissioner has a right or can grant permission or exemption, tell me, I intend to have a block just around the Christmas after school close, and I will be intending to play some music. How do I go about applying for permission?
Okay, so Section 18 of the Act, subsection 1, states that no loudspeaker or musical instrument shall be operated or used for the purpose of providing music in any public place in circumstances where such music is reasonably capable of disturbing of any person residing in private premises, unless a written application for permission for the operation shall have been made to the police, lodging at the same at the police station nearest to the proposed venue. So you apply through written application to the nearest police station.
Right.
So let's say you're having it in Hermitage Government School Pasture or the school, then you bring it to Hermitage Police Station.
Right.
You want to have it maybe around Sote's area, you bring it in Sote's Police Station. However, not later than 10 clear days before the date of the operation, of the event.
Right.
So you must submit it 10 days before that event.
Right.
You have to state, the purpose of the event. What is the event? Remember the basic of letter writing or of permission writing. What is the event? Who is having the event? Where is the event? What time you're requesting the event? And what is the event? Maybe what is the event about, but it's basically who, what, where,
I want to
when.
interject. I want to interject, Miss Burke, because I'm hearing that person in Kalalu saying, "Well, I need to do something for the Christmas," and I don't understand what she's saying. So don't just say who. Give me some examples. Take us right down to our layman.
Okay, so let's use my name.
Right.
There. So I'm saying, I hereby Tonya Burke, hereby apply to have karaoke on the 2nd of December,
Right.
2022 at Kalalu Junction,
Right.
within the hours of 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. to 12 or 1 a.m. And yes,
The purpose of that. Right.
Yes, the purpose of the event is for community development, or to have a social, or to aid someone in having some medical expenses, that.
Right.
And you submit it to Hermitage Police Station, or you can also go to Granville Police Station, but it may be easier. You submit it to Hermitage Police Station, the station will take care of it from there.
Right. And listeners, ensure to put a contact number or numbers so that you can reach. Is that all in regards to the application?
No, when granted the permission, normally people will say a piece of paper attached to the permission, but it's not just a piece of paper. The piece of paper has expectations, or should we say conditions or restrictions, and we expect our applicants to read and understand the conditions and restrictions, because you're not reading it, you don't know what is your condition, you don't know what the commissioner is saying not to or to do, and remembering that the police also has a copy of that. So in breach of that, we would have to come and intervene. And sometimes some people say, oh, the police come and cut off the music. But what if you apply for one, but you may get 12, and because you didn't read, and we have 12, and you say, oh, I applied for one, but your condition is 12.
Right.
So if we read, we could better be able to curb the problem of that. Always the public saying the police come and cut off the music, which is a regular thing most times. And always have your permission and conditions readily available for inspection.
And at your location.
At your location. If you find that you may lose it, give it to somebody that is trustworthy in the event, or keep it somewhere. Most people have their vehicles or someone else's vehicle close by at the location. So you keep it at a safe place, so that when the police arrive, even though if you see definitely that, yes, I got the permission for 1 a.m., the police arrive at 12 and say, no, you have this, then you could present it and say, well, look, officer, this is what I read and this is what it is.
Right.
So it may be helpful to the police and you. And in terms of getting more permissions too, it may be easy to grant you one.
Because you have complied
the first time.
And additionally to the application is that the law requires you to have the permission at the venue.
At the venue,
just like your liquor dealer's license. The temporary one, you are required to have it at the venue. But additionally, to say that there is a fee of $10, a processing fee of $10 that all applicants ought to pay. And it is not on consideration whether the permission was granted or not. In order for processing of the application, each applicant pays $10 for that processing, because the area must be vetted and there are other things, administrative action that often take takes place. This time we'll take a brief commercial break and we'll be right back with the conversation with the RGPF.
Police walking on eggshells for you. We never get it right. It's not just the criminals, but society gives the biggest fight. Unwarranted slander we endure every day. You say police is police just for the government's pay. Oh gosh, I put you before my family. With my life I protect you daily, but before I make a law, you're ready to hang the stewards of the law. Remember when they kill Reddy, you said I'm police too choky. No man fights with police and dead. You say the force is where killers are bred. So when I hear you complaining, I have to agree. Is you society guilty of police brutality against me? The brutal society brutal. Oh gosh, they brutal. My society brutal. Police here have to tiptoe, good Lord. We afraid to mash your corner, cause you're in waiting like Mako to dish out disdain, slander, and scorn when you sleep at night time. Police up, we fighting crime. Yes, yet in your cruel carnal mind you say police wasting time. Now the police keeping you fit, be ever present on the streets. Still you say upstairs the worst. We only harassing woman and boss. You used to complain, true and true, about the bloods and the ginger crew. You tell us put some licks in their ass. Now you say police hand too damn fast. So when I hear you complaining, I have to agree. It's all you society that guilty of police brutality against me. The brutal society brutal. Oh gosh, the brutal. My society brutal. When I listen.
Yes, listeners, it is Wednesday. The conversation with the RGPF. And in studio with me is that of Corporal Lewis and WPC Burke, Hermitage Police Station. And the information is very timely. And I trust that someone. But the good thing about the conversation with the RGPF, it's not only for the Eastern Division. That information can be used throughout the trial and state of Grenada because the laws are the same. So I urge you, wherever you are, and you are tuned in and you're getting those information, don't just say it is for Eastern Division or Hermitage. It is for the trial and state of Grenada. And this morning, we're looking at the Noise Control Act. And in studio with me is that of Corporal Lewis and WPC Burke. But we have looked at some issues as it regards to the Noise Pollution Act. We looked at what is noise, how the exemption, who can exempt persons according to the law in what is deemed to be noise. We've looked thus far as to the application of permission when you want to have activity and play music or noise. But what happens if someone is charged and are found guilty? What are the penalties according to law that can be meted out, or what are the penalties in this regulation?
Okay. Any person who is guilty of an offense under this act is liable on summary conviction. A. In the case of a first offense, to a fine of $250.
Okay.
All right. B. In the case of a second offense, to a fine not exceeding $500 or to imprisonment for 6 months or to both. C. In the case of a third offense, to a fine not exceeding $1,000 or to imprisonment for 9 months or to both. And D. In the case of a fourth offense, to imprisonment for 12 months.
Wow.
So,
So the question I'll ask, has Hermitage Police Station ever had that experience of charging someone for breach of the Noise Pollution Act? Or is it a case that we get compliance and we don't need to charge?
well, under my watch, no, we has not charged anyone. We have dealt with some of those matters, complaints,
Right.
but we have not reached the stage of charging anyone thus far.
And is it a case that we have cooperation from persons through education, or persons are informed as to what is expected when permission is granted? What do you think has brought you all at that level?
Well, I think, as stated before, we has a good relationship with our communities,
Right.
and we usually would get the cooperation from the persons.
Excellent.
And we do not wait to get a complaint as well. Once we know that there is an activity, we police that activity as well.
Great.
So we would pass and check it out.
Right. Happy to hear that. Because these days, these monies are not easy to come by. And just the fact of being charged do create a conviction for one in something so trivial where you can just have a communication and get it going in terms of the perpetrator. But we've spoken of exemptions in relation to the Noise Act, and it was stated that the Commissioner of Police can grant exemption, and it was also stated from the law that there are certain instances where noise are automatically exempted. You do not need permission or exemption for that. But we also have situations within our society day by day where what is considered to be excessive noise coming from motor vehicles. What does the law say about that, if any?
Excessive noise from motor vehicles. Any person who, without written permission from the Commissioner of Police,
Right.
who drives, let me say it over, who drives or permits to be driven a motor vehicle on a road when that motor vehicle makes excessive noise from its engine, exhaust, radio, tape deck, air horn, or any other part or equipment attached, whether such equipment is built into the vehicle or not, whether it's for the reproduction of music, for speech, or any other song, commits an offense from the Noise Pollution Act.
And does the same penalty that the corporal speaks to apply to that?
Yes, it can be.
Okay. So just for the listener who just tuned in, just repeat that section of the law.
Yes, so any person who, without a written permission from the Commissioner of Police, who drives and permits to be driven. And let me just break it down a little bit. Who drives or permits to be driven. So if I have a vehicle and my sister or uncle drives that vehicle, while driving the vehicle, while you're a driver of that vehicle, while doing excessive noise,
Right.
can be charged.
Okay. Then.
Also, I can be charged
As the owner.
as the owner of the vehicle
Okay.
because I permit you to drive the vehicle at the time with the excessive noise.
Oh.
Yes.
All right.
So while it's on the road,
Mm-hmm.
from its engine, exhaust, radio, tape deck, air horn, or any part of equipment attached,
Right.
whether built into the vehicle or not, or whether it's for the reproduction of music, speech, or any other sound, it commits an offense.
Well, that's a heavy piece of
Mhm.
law, but I often ask myself how much of the public knows that.
I think that's why I chose to highlight it today.
Definitely.
Because I realize there's a lot of I'm not too sure if everyone who does it knows about it or you
Right.
just show an ignorance towards it.
Mm-hmm.
But I come to believe that a lot of people do not know.
Okay.
They think that it's just it's music in my
A
vehicle.
bling, a style.
Bling. I
Yeah.
go in and so I just drive. That's the
Right.
motivation to drive. But it does create noise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when all the places like schools,
Mhm.
hospitals, police stations, health centers come in because vehicles drive, people drive their
Mhm.
vehicles, and you have no consideration when you reach by these important places.
Right.
And remember, excessive noise by or around these important places is also an offense.
Right.
So I think that drivers should be aware of that. Even I'm not saying that we have to run behind you or come in every part of Grenada to tell you low down your music or things like that. But at least when you reach by the important places, the schools, the hospitals, the health centers, the police station,
Right.
we are supposed to stay inside these places and hear ourselves.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So owners, vehicle owners, drivers, please be mindful and pay attention to this section of the law because you may just find yourself paying a fine of $250 in the first instance, $500 second instance, and I'm only repeating the law as given by the corporal. And in any other situation, 1,000. But they do not just come with a fine. There can also be imprisonment, fine and confine, right? So while the program always builds up, and it is a pleasure to be here, and I know you get comfortable in your seats, and the hour has come to an end, but you never end without leaving the salient points, the main thing that you want your listeners to take away from your program. So Ms. Burke, I'll give you that opportunity to just give our listeners a summation as to what you want to leave with them.
Well, good morning again. I would like to leave with you how to apply or where to apply, because many people think that you have to go far or you must go into other places, but it's right and it's easier to apply to your nearest, and as the law states also, your nearest police station. So as I said, the example from before, if you're having something in Calado Junction, you're having something in Belmont Hermitage, you're having it in Upper St. John or even Lower St. John, you can come to Hermitage Police Station. You're having it Telescope, you're having it Mackey, you're having it Subies, you go to Grenville. You're having it around Sutter's area, you go to Sutter's. You include the basics in your application. Who is having the event, which is your name, or most people have their promotion names. These days. They operate on the promotions. So you have your promotions, you have when is the event, where is the event, what is the event. Most times the purpose of the event. Most events nowadays have lots of meaningful purposes. And the time requested for the event. But most importantly, under that, read and understand the conditions and restrictions in the permission,
Right.
so that you won't fall short of having your event or continuing your event, and we won't have another episode of the police shut down the music again. So so thank you for listening to me today, and I hope that you take home all of this, tell a friend, and tell everyone that you know.
Thank you so much. And I'll say thank you because your information was timely and pertinent as we go quickly into the Yuletide season, where persons embrace the opportunity to make some form of noise, but is being authorized to do so.
Yes.
So, Corporal, as the senior one, it's now your turn to leave some closing remarks with our listeners and anything that you want to say to your policing area. You're the chief at the Hermitage Police Station.
All right, well, just before I start, I just want to say that notwithstanding what Ms. Buck would have said, I just want to say nothing is wrong if you bypass the Hermitage Police Station and goes to Grenville Police Station or Police Headquarters.
Right.
The Grenville Police Station is our headquarters, and we'll still be passing it through them.
Right.
So nothing is wrong
Going there
as well.
Great.
Right? But I want to thank you and thank everyone for the opportunity given to me today. It was a nice experience. I must say that I do enjoy it.
You will be back, Corporal. Don't get comfortable. You will be back come 2023.
All right. So I want to take the opportunity to speak to the persons on the Hermitage policing area.
Right.
They has been behaving pretty well thus far.
Happy to hear that.
Yes, and I want to ask them to continue on that path. You know, we do appreciate it, and let us continue. And I want to wish every one of them a happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Right.
And while we're on that, our station is embarking on a fundraising venture coming on the 2nd of December.
Yes.
A barbecue and what we call a luncheon.
Right.
And we are asking persons to support, right? The Ms. Bucky can give the menu and fee.
But yes, we are embarking on a barbecue fundraiser on the Friday, the 2nd of December. It starts from 11 a.m.
Okay.
We will have barbecue chicken and fish served with potato salad and garlic bread.
Wow.
The cost is only $15. To order, you can contact the Hermitage Police Station, or if you have seen any officer, myself, the corporal, or any officer you know
What's
attached
your contact
to the
number?
station. The contact number is 442-9445 or 405-3136. Yes, all the proceeds goes to, should we say, bringing joys to some vulnerable homes in our community.
Okay.
While doing community policing, we have picked out some people who we have seen that needs a little bit of, smiles.
One would like joy. To them.
Yes. So
That's nice.
the proceeds will go to that.
Good. So come the 2nd of December, listeners, you have that luncheon at the Hermitage Police Station. Only $15. Contact number 442
9445
9445
or 405-3136.
405-3136 Hermitage Police Station luncheon. It is to give back to the community as we continue to create that synergy between the police and the community. So it is the end of our program, The Conversation with the Rgpf. Thank you so much to my two wonderful guests. I do enjoy that.
You're welcome.
And you are the wonderful listeners. You are what makes the program. It is that we can be here every Wednesday with another conversation with the Rgpf. God bless you. You have a wonderful week ahead, and we will continue to speak again on The Conversation with the Rgpf. As I alluded to last Wednesday, this monster that is raising its head within our society, I beg of all and sundry to please speak against it, act against it. You hear something, know something, see something, please say something. This issue of robbery with violence and stealing, let us stamp it out out of our society. You know something, say something. You hear something, please say something. And if you have a camera hidden somewhere that have recorded something, please share it so that we can bring an end to that. Because bear in mind, if not, your loved one or someone that is affiliated with you may just be hurt. It is the conversation with the RGPF. I am Corporal 85 Grant. Bye and see you next week, God's will, with another program.
Every hour on the hour.
This is the latest update of news produced by Triple N. Details when we get back.